Hello, Capricorn. This is Carrie at wooingnature.life. I hope you are doing well, and I hope that the summer months are coming in and making you feel good about yourself because it should. This is a great time for my earth sign people or my earth element people because you're starting to see your purpose come through. And so my hat's off to you all for holding it down because you know that earth sign people are the ones that are the grounders of the zodiac, and they're the ones who kind of take a lot of the stuff too. Okay? All right, Capricorn, I'm going to be reading from the Earthcraft Oracle. This is a nice little deck by a couple of sisters here that I have enjoyed working with. I haven't got a bad reading from any of them. I mean, I don't get bad readings per se, but the readings that come from these are very apropos, and they also connect you to your roots, to the earth. Gives you they have some good ceremonies come out of this sometimes. Like, I can't think of a time I haven't pulled these cards and it hasn't been some good exercise to do that will ground you and connect you to the earth that comes through. So I'm going to be reading from this deck of cards for Capricorn. I'd like to give thanks to God, angels, and the assembly, all of my ancestors and spirit guides that guide my hand and guide my heart. I ask that they will reveal a reading for Capricorn. For the summer months, this is specifically focusing on the summer, so from now until mid-September, as to what it is that Capricorn needs to focus on. So after I do the Earthcraft, I am going to do a medicine wheel reading from the Mystical Shaman Oracle. And the medicine wheel will give us a little more insight, a little more guidance. All right, so Capricorn, you got 3 cards here. The first one says, accept your gifts. And I think this is the same card that came through for your Aquarian neighbors. No, I think it might be somebody else. Anyway, it's another, you all cross watchers can help me understand or can remind me who this is. But for you, it is to accept your gifts. So accepting your gifts is about connecting here to your 3rd chakra. Oh, 3rd. What am I talking about today? This is up here, your 3rd eye chakra is what I mean. So you need to connect there. And this is about a transformation that's going to happen during the summer. You should be seeing everything from your 3rd eye. That's what I'm getting. Everything from the 3rd eye. In other words, don't use this eye, these 2 eyes. Use this eye to see everything. And when you do that, what's going to happen is it's going to resonate with you at your solar plexus level. Your solar plexus houses your will to live, your will to go on, your motivation, your drive, your inner fire. So when you do this, it's going to awaken your inner fire, and you're going to all of a sudden have a whole lot of energy to do a whole lot of things that you didn't think you were going to have the energy to do. I'm getting for you to pay attention to your gut, and that could be gut instincts, but it could also be gut health, okay? So pay attention if there's any digestive issues that surface for you during the summer months. Look into that and check into that if it's something serious, or even if it's not, just check into it. And then otherwise, you may want to pay attention to your diet and pay attention to what you're consuming, okay? But it can also be about gut instincts, gut level instincts and things like that. So you want to pay attention to that. So the second card that came up is the Sacred Temple. Now, the Sacred Temple for me is the temple of yourself. This is what I'm seeing here. And again, I'm seeing some of the same images from the first card. I'm seeing this, the 3rd eye chakra being a focal point. This is a point you need to be meditating and doing creative visualization during the summer. Meditating, creative visualization specifically, right? And what that does is it allows you to go to your heart center, and connect your heart center as well. So your third eye chakra is connecting to your solar plexus chakra, has activities focused on your solar plexus chakra, and then also on your heart chakra. So stones that are good for these are citrine for your gut, and also for your heart. It could be either emerald or rose quartz, either one of those, or you may be working with both. Okay, whichever one you feel moved to. And then the last card is the number 44, which is you are sacred. So there's a lot of spiritual messages coming to you about you, Capricorn, and about your sacredness, about your body being a sacred temple, about connecting to the sacred temple of your within yourself, seeing yourself as sacred, accepting the gifts that you have that exist within you, and doing the meditations and the prayers and the actions around that, so that you can feel free, to do whatever it is that you need to do. This is a grounding exercise for you. And it's also a way for you to be exposed, or to expose yourself. Now, exposure can seem scary to a lot of people, but we're talking about the type of exposure that releases you from being bound or masked. So if you've been wearing a mask, or if you feel like you have to put on a mask to go out into the world, this is going to take that mask right off. And you will be able to feel free to be your full natural self, no matter what, and no matter who, and no matter what the circumstances are. And I'm telling you, who the sun frees is free indeed. So if you have been freed, if you are being freed during this time, welcome it. And if you have fears around that, then work past your fears, because it's going to happen anyway. It's going to happen, and what it's going to teach you is that there is actually nothing to fear around the exposure. There's nothing to fear around the exposure. So it seems like you all might have been kind of working. Some of y'all Capricorns, y'all like to work in the background, but or you may feel that you have to put on a certain face in order to get the job done. But at this time, that's not necessary. All right, so I'm going on to the Mystical Shaman Oracle, and that is a 5-card reading. It has a card in the center, and then there's a card to the south, the west, the north, and the east, respectively. And I like going to the medicine wheel, especially this time of year, because you're halfway in the middle of your yearly cycle. You know, people always bum rush the door of the new year and try to do all these changes and say they're going to do all these things, and then halfway in the middle of the year they forgot what they said they were going to do, or they're not doing it anyway, right? But it's good to come in the middle of the year and do a good assessment of where you are, because sometimes it will trigger things that you said you were going to do. It will remind you of what you said you were going to focus on this year that you forgot about, or it may be a redirection. And so that's why I like to do the medicine wheel at this time. So at the center we have the child. This is you. This is you at the center of yourself. This is when you can embrace your inner child. When you can go back to, it's not going back, it's actually going full circle, right? You're never going backwards, always moving in one direction unless you change directions. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. The deal is that this inner child, this is in you, Capricorn, who is, to me, very sighted, very wise. I'm seeing a very sighted, very wise child. I'm seeing a child that's connected to the spiritual world in a special way, meaning that some of you all are like spirit children. You're the children of the spirit and not necessarily children of your own parents, okay? If any of you all have felt like your parents weren't your parents, or your hometown isn't your hometown, like sometimes you feel like where you were born and raised, that's not your spot, or something, you don't feel at home there, whatever, that may apply to you. I'm getting that going back, this kind of reflecting on your inner child is going to come around the changes of the moon as the moon changes. Now, A lot of people are focused on the new moon and the full moon, which is cool because you need to do that to begin with because you need to start to learn the rhythms and the cycles of the moon. But the moon goes through phases, right? And so you go through phases as a child. You went through phases as an adult. You go through phases. So when you are connecting to the moon, yes, you can pay attention to the new and the full moon, but also pay attention to when the moon just calls you to her. So when you're outside and you notice the moon, it may not be on a full moon. It may be on a first quarter moon. It might be on a waxing gibbous moon. So whatever the case is, don't get attached so much to, I have to be there for the full moon, I have to be there for the new moon, or I have to be aware. Do what you do, ritually speaking, around those times. But also just allow yourself to be as free as the child. And when that happens, then the moon is going to call you to her, specifically for information. In the south, we have the wind, which is a really interesting card because the wind represents that which is not seen, that which is felt, and that which is experienced, sort of like as an aftermath of wind, like when you have a windstorm. We don't see the wind, but we see the effects of the wind. And so that is in the south, which is where is your learning place, where you are learning or where you are discovering or where you are, where you're learning and discovering new things. So what you're going to do is be paying attention to wind energy during the summer, and there will be lots of opportunity because with Oya, we have thunderstorms, we have tornadoes, we got hurricanes that come in around the end of the season. And so what you want to do is be paying attention to wind energy when it's very windy, when you have high wind days. You'll want to connect to the wind energy. Now, wind energy, again, is not seen, it's felt, and the effects are seen. So you need to visit that within yourself, where you are not seen, but the effects of you are evidenced, okay? So where you may have been working, where you have put, your little fingerprint on certain projects or activities that you've been involved in, seeing yourself show up even when you're not there, okay? Very interesting magic there. In the West, we have the Sweat Lodge, okay? Which the West represents the looks within place, and the Sweat Lodge is a really great place to do some looking within. If you have the opportunity to go to a sweat, that would be great. If not, you can do the same thing in a sauna. But you just have to be dedicated to it, and you also have to be careful because you don't want to end up, having a heat exhaustion or something like that. So you want to be aware of that. But if you can get to that, that would be great. The Sweat Lodge allows you to relinquish the shadow and find your inner light. That's what it helps you to do. It also allows you to go back into ancient teachings and an ancient way of operating, a very ancient way of operating. And so it also opens up new worlds for you. Okay, so though this is in the West part, to me that means that this may be an experience that you've already had, or it could be something that you have recently done that has acted in that way. It's allowed you to shed the shadow. It's allowed you to see the bigger picture. It's allowed you to kind of get outside of the bubble that you've been in, not the protective bubble, but the bubble of illusion that you've been in about yourself. Yes, that's coming in with the number 9. So to me, this is something that's already happened for you. You've already had that experience. In the North, we have the Time Master. And the Time Master is an interesting character in our living experience because we're talking about time. Time waits for no one. You can't get it back. You can't control it. It just is. It is the cycle of time. And the beauty of it is that you can't control it. You can't stop it. That's the beauty of it. And because of that, because you can't stop the time, some people want to stop time. They do. They don't want to get old. They don't want to die. They don't want to whatever. They don't want to experience certain things. But time is really your blessing keeper. Okay? Because everyone must succumb to time. Everyone must be within the cycle of time. And how you're within the cycle of time and what you're doing within the cycle of time and what may be happening in the cycle of time is your story. But the bigger story is it's just time. It's just time. And it's about timing. And so this being in the north position is in the position of wisdom or knowledge that we gain from those people who have crossed over, or those, not those who've crossed over, but those who have been on the planet longer than you have, or that I have, or anybody else has. And that's of course, at an individual level, whoever that is, listening to or watching or paying attention to their experiences could be very fruitful for you at this time. But the main thing is to get used to, or get accustomed to, or get right with that idea that time and timing is it's a rhythm, and you are a part of that. Okay. The East heralds the hummingbird. Quite a totem for you right now, Capricorn, because the hummingbird is the fastest. It's the beats per minute that this bird bats its wings are like more than any other bird. So you're going to be going faster than ever. And at the same time, it's going to seem like you're standing still, because if you've ever seen a hummingbird doesn't appear to fly like other birds. It appears to dart from place to place. It looks like this. It's flying. But when it moves to a certain point, and then it moves to another point like that, and then it goes to where it needs to go. So you can expect during the summer that you may be darting from here to there, that you may find yourself over here, and then over here, and then over here, and then over here. And that's because the pace has quickened for you, and because you are going to now be experiencing flight at a different level. It's almost like hovering. Okay, so this is a great time for you during the summer. I don't see any negatives here. It doesn't seem like there's any much more work that needs to be done, even around this inner child work. It didn't come in the South where you're still learning about the inner child. This is about you just being that. It's about you finding the child that you were, and remembering that you still are that child. You still are that person. Nothing in the essence of who you are has changed from that point. All you're doing is making decisions about what that looks like for you. And that's how you know that you are embodying and accepting your gifts and accepting your sacredness, and honoring your body as the temple, and honoring the temple within yourself. Great things for you, Capricorn. Look forward to hearing from you. Please let me know in the description, not in the description box, in the comments below. Let me know how things are going. Let me know what hurdles you've crossed, and let me know, how this resonates with you. If you want to take a deeper dive, you can reach out to me. I am at info@wooingnature.life. You can also find me on Facebook. If you go to Facebook and want to make an appointment, you can go to contact us, and it will take you straight to the booking page. Okay? As always, I hope you have a great day, Capricorn. I hope you have a fabulous summer. Get your hummingbird energy on this summer. And as always, I hope you have a fabulous life.